Hey guys, welcome back to another flashlight review. And today I have got something different to show you. And as a lot of you know, Wuben are a brand that's always pushing the boundaries of the traditional flashlight. And some of you would have seen my previous reviews. I reviewed the E7 as well as a bunch of the X series flashlights that don't even look like a normal flashlight. They've got a few interesting functions on them. But this one here is a completely new model that they have just released or are going to release very soon. This is the Wuben G4, and I believe they're renaming it to the E1, but this is just a sample that they're sending out to reviewers like myself. And as you can see, it's a sleek, kind of low profile light. I've never seen this sort of design before, but it seems to be targeted to influencers, photographers, basically anyone looking for a compact flashlight that attaches to your phone. And I'll show you how it works a little bit later, but it's about 10 times brighter than your usual phone flashlight, probably more, and is basically a miniature ring light as well. Now, if you have an iPhone and you've got one of those MagSafe cases, this thing will work straight out of the box, attaching to that magnet, so it's going to mount without any modifications. But if you have an Android phone like myself, then you'll need to use one of these magnetic pads that's included with the light. So the E1 can be used for a few different purposes. You can use it firstly as a fill light. You can use it for just any of those low light photography situations. Sometimes I do wish I had a more floodier light on me because I tend to carry around very throwy kind of lights. You can use it as a work or a reading light as well, because you can really dim it down to almost like 2 lumens, 1 to 2 lumens. You can also use it as a selfie light or even as an extra slim EDC. So yeah, oh, I forgot to mention, it actually functions as a phone stand as well. So essentially what you do is that you just stick it onto the back of the phone like that, okay? And it's quite simple, just sticks on. The magnet has a decent amount of strength, so you're definitely not gonna, unless you really whack it off, it does stay put. But yeah, things like this, you can use it as a stand. Let's see, you can lean it on the cross. It even holds up. You can sort of flip it around like this way and just use it as an upright stand for your phone as well. So I really like how Wuben have just incorporated that stand into it, because I do always like to, from watching movies or from watching a video, I just like to have it facing upright rather than sort of have my head bent down and get that good old tech neck. So this is basically everything that is included in the box. And yeah, get a little case with it, really basic sort of case. As you can see, I mean, I think it just came like that in a little plastic bag. It also came with one of these magnetic stickers. Okay, would be good if they actually included more than one of them, just if you want to use it on other devices perhaps. And you also have this thing, which I didn't expect. It's basically a miniature stand. Okay, so it sort of flexes in a few, sort of this way, and then you can rotate it as well, like that. And the bottom part of it sort of clips onto stuff as well. So yeah, I guess if you're just using your phone to record, and I'll show you how that works. Essentially, you have the part that sticks on there. So it's very strong, so it's able to pick up the entire phone. No issues there. I've got a Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, so yeah, it's got a bit of heft to it. And just grab the G4 and you just stick it on the back like that. Turn it on. Okay, and there you have it. I could see situations where I might, want to mount the phone somewhere, just have it on like a table or something like that, recording. So I could use this little clamp here on the end. It is pretty full on, I have to say. It takes a little bit of strength to pull it, but yeah, at least it's not going to come unclamped. There's also a 1/4 inch hole here at the end as well. Okay, so it's attachment bit, so you can attach any sort of traditional camera gear, like you can put a selfie stick there as well, which is pretty cool. Of course, the light itself, like I said, it just attaches on like that. But what you can do is you can sort of open it up like that and then use it as a selfie light this way as well. Just turn it onto the edge a little bit like that. So yeah, can see this being popular with a lot of influencers, maybe people who just like to take selfies as well. Okay, so I'll just show you a little close-up of the G4, and it's made of magnesium alloy. My version is anyway, and it's very well machined, no rough spots, and magnesium is a metal that I'm not so familiar with. You know, most of my gear maybe just comes in anodized aluminium, but magnesium is 66% of the weight of aluminium. So when I first got it, I actually thought this was plastic because it was so light, but it is actually metal. It's magnesium and decent heat dissipation as well. But I did initially, mistake the thing as plastic. I think that's good for, for a light of this size, especially small light, 80 grams. It makes sense because, you don't want to be carrying this thing, a really heavy light attached to your phone. You want it almost to be unnoticeable, and it has a nice slim profile as well. Worth noting as well that Wuben is also going to be releasing a titanium version of this light. It comes in a few different patterns, but the magnesium version that I have here comes with just the black or white anodizing. I'm not sure if the white version is micro arc oxidized. I'm thinking it might be, because I've seen, most of Wuben's white lights are pretty much micro arc oxidized, but yeah, this one's just normal black anodizing, as you can see. So the way to turn on the light is through this little button here on the side. Interesting little button. It reminds me of a watch crown, and you can like rotate it. I'll just show you how it's actually used a little bit later on. But yeah, simple sort of one button operation. So you can see all inside the light here, there's a diffuser. There is 28 SMD 3030 LEDs. Okay, that just runs side by side, and they're of different tints as well. So you've basically got a cool tint and a warm white tint, and the neutral tint as well, which is in the middle, is just made by combining both of them together. And yeah, 300 lumens turbo mode as well, which is pretty impressive for a light of this size. Not much heat sinking on there. So it's, yeah, rated 300 lumens for 30 minutes. And cool thing is you've got USB-C charging. Okay, so I'm just going to show you how it works, how you turn it on. So essentially just press and hold to turn on. Okay, you've got to hold it for probably longer than a second, maybe two seconds or so. No, maybe about 1 or something seconds. Okay, press and hold, turn on and off. Now, you basically just press the button once to switch these three different modes. Okay, so there's like warm, neutral, cool white. Okay, and then what you can do here is you can actually like just rotate the crown as you would, like a watch, just changing the time kind of thing. And you can actually just flip and open it up. It makes it a little bit easier to do it. You can actually just dim it and make it brighter. When you get to the top of the ramp, you see it blinks once as well. Nice little touch. Okay. Find that around the house. I'm actually using the warm LEDs a lot more. It's quite nice. Look at this 2 lumen mode. This is so low that you can actually look at it without blinding yourself. Alrighty, so I ran a bunch of ceiling bounce tests, and this was on the neutral mode 100%, so all the way to the top of the ramp. And remember, with neutral, it's actually activating all 28 SMD LEDs in there. So this is pretty much the brightest mode that you have in this light. And I put it on 100%, and you can see it lasts all the way to 30 minutes and beyond on 100%. And I didn't notice any step down during that entire time, as you can see by that ceiling bounce test. And the great thing about this as well is when you're taking photos, especially if you're taking videos as well, you don't want that light output to be continually varying, because you're using any manual settings on your phone or another camera, for instance. It does get a little bit annoying having to continually change and alter the ISO mode and stuff like that. So yeah, it's good to see that there is some sustained output. There might be some regulation in this light. I'm not 100% sure. Ran a second ceiling bounce test here, and you can see I've just used the warm LEDs. Okay, so again, no step down. I also ran a third test with just the cool ones and got pretty much the same results. I also ran a bunch of tests with my Opal Light Master Pro, and you can see here on the warm mode and the cool mode, very similar specs. 13 meters of throw on the warm mode. you've got 3,177K. So definitely, much more on the warmer end. On the cool mode, 5,610K. So definitely like a cool white kind of color. You can see here on neutral, you get pretty much double the candela. Throws slightly increased to 19 meters just because you've got all those LEDs firing. But yeah, overall 70 to 72.7 CRI, which is pretty standard for most LEDs out there. That neutral mode as well, smack bang in the middle of that 3,100, 5,600 rating for both those others. So yeah, nice kind of, but still warm. The Wuben G4 produces a really floody beam, even light for close range use as well. And as you can see, sustained output, which was quite surprising to me. So some considerations if you're thinking of getting the Wuben G4, the battery is only 320 milliamp hours, so it's not going to last long, especially on those high modes, only rated at 30 minutes on the highest mode. But the good news is that with that USB-C charging as well, you can actually reverse charge. Most modern phones, if you've got a short USB-C cable, you can just connect it to your phone if you do need that extra runtime. The second consideration is that, of course, it's not as bright as most tube lights out there. Okay, this is not meant to compete with a usual tube light, but I think the heat regulation on this thing is absolutely fantastic. It had this thing running for over 30 minutes and it was only slightly warm to the touch, and definitely having these smaller SMD LEDs, these low powered LEDs that are also extremely efficient does help. And having a light like this as opposed to a normal tube light does make it a lot more portable as well. It's something that you're more likely going to have on you. I think when I go out and I maybe just grab a light, it's something that I'm intentionally doing. Whereas something like this, which is attached to the back of your phone, if you forget your main EDC light, you always be able to just think, oh, just check the back of my phone and I've got something there. The third consideration is that I really think this light would have been better with some high CRI LEDs. And yeah, I mean, when you're using your phone camera, generally speaking, most people are not taking very serious photos, especially if you're taking selfies and stuff like that. So it's not a deal breaker, but would have been nice to see some high CRI LEDs in there. So overall, I think the Wuben G4/E1 is the perfect EDC light. If you're the type of person who's always just fumbling around in your bag for your phone flashlight, having to find that touch screen and tap on, and it does take a little while. I think you'll appreciate something that's more powerful and easier to switch on, like the G4. You've just got this crown on the back of the light, which is so easy to locate. And not everyone, like I mentioned, wants to carry around a fully fledged tube light. So I think this is perfect alternative. And I really like how practical the G4 is. It's got a few other features like the fill light. It's got the general, you can be used as a general photography light as well, a kickstand for your phone. And yeah, I know I've been stuck at times without adequate ambient light, and just notice the sun going down and having to just mess around with my camera settings and the ISO. So it would have been good to have this one on hand in an emergency. And like I said, the sustained output is so impressive of light of this size and caliber as well. Go ahead and check the link in the description. I've got a special discount voucher. You can get this light. And if you have questions, just let me know down in the comments below. Any thoughts of this light as well. Would like to hear what you guys think. If you enjoyed the video, do me a big favor and click the like button. That's pretty much the only way that my videos get recommended these days. And if you want to see more flashlight reviews and keep up to date with the recent news, make sure you subscribe. On a large oval at the moment, we'll go for a bit of a walk and I'll show you the different modes. Okay.
Wuben G4. This is on both the warm and cool LEDs.